What's happening, guys? Like the new shirt? I was going to get the yellow sweatpants to go with them, but I decided on black instead, because why not? Yeah, so I just wanted to do a little vlog talking about the latest season of Legends of the Hidden Temple. That's right, after 25 years, they finally made a brand new season. Little history going behind it. If you've never heard of Legends of the Hidden Temple, it was a game show on Nickelodeon that ran from 1993 to 1995. It was hosted by Kirk Fogg, and the objective of the game show was you had to go through a series of games and beat a bunch of teams in order to qualify for the temple run. And you go through this giant Mayan temple-like structure in the studio, and you have to get an artifact from the room. And if you get the artifact out of the temple before 3 minutes is up, you win a trip or a vacation. So either to Space Camp, Mexico, Jamaica, or wherever. So yeah, it was definitely one of my favorite game shows growing up. And even though it was hard as hell, I mean, out of 120 episodes, I believe it was, only 32 people actually managed to complete the temple. Either because it was too hard, or the contestants were too stupid. So yeah, I always wanted to compete on the show, but unfortunately I was way too young when the show aired. I was like 3, so I never had the chance. But now, the chance might happen, because they just had a new season on the CW. They were originally going to air it on this streaming service called Quibi, but unfortunately, due to Corona-chan deciding to do a run-in, eventually Quibi got shut down and completely went bankrupt. But fortunately, the CW stepped in and decided to give the show a shot. And how does it hold up? I like it. Yeah, I mean, like, mileage may vary to some people, but I actually thought this was a very solid reboot. I mean, one of the best reboots there's been in a while, right up there with Robot Wars. So let's talk about some of the changes for the new show. Obviously, the big change is instead of kids running through all the temple games and going to the temple, it's adults like me. So the other big change is the change of host. Filling in for Kirk Fogg, we have comedian Cristela Alonso. I have never heard of her prior to this, and again, mileage may vary, but as an updated host for the current generation, I thought she did a fine job. She's cute, she's funny, I love the little banter she has with Olmec at the beginning of each episode, and yes, of course, it wouldn't be Legends of the Hidden Temple without D. Bradley Baker as Olmec. And this guy, he is quite literally a legend. I mean, in the 30 years since he started doing this, he has not lost a single step. He's still great as Olmec, and he actually has a lot more personality as Olmec this season. Like, in the original show, he kind of was going through the motions a bit, giving out the guidelines and rules for each game and such. But they give him a few more quips and a few more jokes. And I love when he's talking about the silver monkey and he says, "Assemble that damn statue." Never thought you'd hear Olmec from your childhood say damn on a show, but this isn't a kid show anymore. This is an adult show. You can curse as much as you want. Well, you'll still get bleeped, but whatever. Other changes. Oh, and a fun fact. I actually met D. Bradley Baker at New York Comic Con the day before the premiere. Talked a little bit about Legends, said I was really looking forward to it, and he said, I hoped I'd enjoy it, and like I did, I enjoyed it. I really did. So, the other changes. There's now 4 teams per episode instead of 6, like there usually was. So, there will be a mixed match of, like, Red Jaguars, Blue Barracudas, Green Monkeys, Purple Parrots, or Red Jaguars, Silver Snakes, Orange Iguanas, Blue Barracudas, whatever. And spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't watch them, be warned, there are going to be a few spoilers, but some teams don't actually make it to the temple. Like the team colors don't actually make it to the temple. I'm not going to say which teams don't make it, but yeah, it might be a bit disappointing for some. What else? The games themselves. this is where things get interesting. The games like the moat, and the moat is a bit more elaborate. There's, instead of just like one simple objective like climbing over a rope ladder or something, there's different objectives to it. Sometimes you have to find something in a box in the middle of the moat, or sometimes you have to eat crickets. Yeah, really. That's nasty. The most baffling moat run I've seen was when they had all these different types of seeds, and you had to go through, throw them all to your partner, and you had to guess how many, if you got the right amount of seeds. And when the game is over, you have to choose to see which seed or grain of rice you have there. And it's like, this is shockingly difficult and elaborate. This is like trying to find a simple grain of sand in the Sahara Desert. Yeah. Steps of knowledge are more or less the same, except one team gets eliminated, just like one team gets eliminated in the moat. The temple games themselves, again, a lot more elaborate, more multi-part instead of just one objective. That's probably why there's only 2 games instead of 3. They brought back a lot of props and stuff from the original show, like the gongs, that little mountain that you climb up and down from season 1, and all kinds of stuff. So, nice little tidbits here and there. The temple itself. Now, there's some changes, obvious changes. When I was little, I always thought 3 minutes is not going to be enough to get these kids through the temple. They should boot it up to 4 minutes. The good news is they finally got it up to 4 minutes this season. So, hey, that should give the teams enough time to get through the temple and get the artifact and get out. It's not. And I'll tell you why. This temple is the hardest temple there has ever been. Like, kids would not make it through this temple in 4 minutes. I don't even think they'd be able to make it in 5. But I'm going to go through each room of the temple. I think there's 11 rooms. There was 12, but there's only 11 in this temple, but I'll go through each one of them. Room number 1 is the entrance room called the Crystal Cenote, where you have this giant crystallized mountain and a ledge and a bottom door, and you have to decide which door is going to be open, and there's only one open door. The bottom door, the middle one with the ledge, or the one on top of the crystal mountain. And I'll start from the bottom, because that's where they went in the premiere episode. The second room on the bottom is the Crypt of the Heartless, which is basically a combination of the crypt and the heart room from the original show. You have to reach into this weird cage full of corpses and grab a beating heart and then put it into the slot. Gross, but it's still a fun room. We have the return of the Pit of Despair, which has 2 doors at the top and 1 door at the bottom. The real pain in the ass is, imagine if you're coming out from the Crypt of the Heartless, you go to the top 2 rooms and they're both locked, and you've just wasted an entire minute trying to find those open doors, and then you have to go through. So yeah, kind of a time waster. If you go through the bottom door, it goes to the Dark Forest. No haunted trees, just ferns and bushes and Kirk fog. Yeah, really, Kirk fog. Yeah, don't worry folks, Kirk fog is in the reboot, just not in the way you'd expect. The Dark Forest does have the return of the wall that you break through, which leads you to the quicksand bog, or the ladder of death as they call it, but it's the quicksand bog. If you take the top right door, it takes you to the Spider's Lair, a returning room from season 1 of the original show, which is just a tunnel filled with cobwebs and fake spiders all around. Apparently, this is the only room in the entire temple that has 2 open doors, but I've only ever seen 1 open door, so I don't know what Christelle is talking about. If you go through the passageway, I think it takes you to the, the Royal Rage Room, basically the sequel to the King's Storeroom. While I'm not a big fan of the name, I still kind of like the room, because my favorite room in the original show was the King's Storeroom, because I love seeing clay pots getting smashed like crazy, and it's fun. It's a little bit more difficult because instead of just finding 1 key, you have to find 3 keys to stick to this giant cube. And they use chute pots instead of regular clay pots, because some of these pots are just a pain in the ass to break. One contestant actually had trouble trying to break it because she was trying to smash it on the ground, and they wouldn't smash. The pots went into business for themselves, but if you know what you're doing in the room, it's not that bad. The Room of the Beloved, or as I like to call it, the Temple Guard's favorite room, because there's almost always a Temple Guard in this room. You have to maneuver a skull through this maze of shelves with skulls on them and make your way down to the bottom to open up the door. It's not a bad room. I actually kind of like it, seeing the skull just maneuvering its way down. It's kind of fun. Of course, it wouldn't be Legends without the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. Every time Olmec says, Shrine of the Silver Monkey, a Temple Guard cowers in fear. And it's of course, the topmost room because the Silver Monkey has all power over everyone. Aside from one infamous run, which is basically mirrors the mysterious manuscript of Mary Shelley, where the guy had the belly upside down, it's probably the easiest. Well, the easiest to do an objective in the room, because some of the other rooms just have buttons to press. But to their credit, like the middle port does look a bit disjointed and a bit easy to mess up, because it's not quite as obvious as it was in the original. But yeah, the Steamy Hollows. Basically, it's a Simon type game where you have to press on basically you have the steam that pops up in 4 holes. You have to guess the combination of the steam that comes out, and then you press on the floor. Sounds easy, except some of the contestants are dumb, and they've made mistakes, so yeah. The Room of the Lost Treasure, I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with this room. It's on paper, it doesn't sound bad. You have this giant cage structure that you have to pull the rods out of and release all this garbage on the floor. And amongst the garbage is supposed to be this giant green stone. It sounds easy on paper, but apparently in the first few runs, they didn't tell the contestants that the actual jade stone would be covered in fur. So the first runs were absolutely destroyed because they didn't know it was wrapped up in fur. So they're just going through the garbage. Where is it? Where is it? Until they eventually found it. Now, am I missing any other rooms? I mentioned the Ladder of Death. I mentioned the Steamy Hollows. But I have saved the worst room for last. The Queen's Armory. You know how people love to say the Shrine of the Silver Monkey gave all the kids trouble in the original show? This room gives adults trouble. I hate this room. Basically, the objective is you have this mannequin of the Queen in the middle of the room. And around the room, you have 5 pieces of armor that you have to dress onto the Queen. And it's a nightmare putting this thing together. You think it's just going to be just 1 piece or 2 piece? No. 5 pieces of clothing you got to dress on this Queen. That's Medusa's lair with 4 snakes levels of overdoing it. And it takes forever. You know why the time limit was increased to 4 minutes? It's because of this stupid room. It takes an entire minute to dress this thing. And you know what? There wasn't a single victory because of this room. That whenever the objective of this room had to be done. Because aside because the contestants are either too slow, because it takes too long to do this room. The actual pieces actually keep falling off the Queen. I recall there was one run, and I think it was one of the last ones, where he was trying to put the headgear on, and he held it on long enough for the door to open until the whole mannequin just fell apart. It's an absolute disaster. And if they have a season 2, and I hope they get renewed, get rid of this room. Replace it with the Room of the Secret Password or something. Something, maybe a bit more, one of the old rooms, or the Lightning Ball room. Something. Anything but this stupid room. And you know, as far as victories goes, you know why there was only 3 victories in this show? Because in 2 of those victories, the artifact was in the Queen's Armory, so you didn't have to actually do the objective. The other victory was a solo run where they didn't even have to enter the Queen's Armory. So, what the hell, show? I don't know what they were thinking. So, speaking of the temple, we also have to talk about the temple guards. And I'm not going to lie, when I was little, I had nightmares of these guys. There was one particular nightmare where a guard actually pops up out of the pit of despair and eats me. And you're probably thinking, oh, they don't have temple guards in the Pit of Despair. Say hello to the new temple, where they always have a temple guard camping off the side of the Pit of Despair to go and jump the guy before he can get out of the Crypt of the Heartless. Yes, the temple guards are in the Pit of Despair. But you know what? Honestly, the guards in this temple, and there's only 2 instead of 3. They say there's 3 temple guards, but you can tell there's only 2. One looks like Luchasaurus, the other looks like Danhausen. Because it's not, the temple guards don't have masks. They have white face paint, and they do this weird thing where they have these close-ups of their faces trying to, jump scare you. It's silly. It's nowhere near as terrifying as it was in the original show, but yeah. Oh, looks like my battery is about to die. But yeah, aside from that, I thought this was a solid show. I give it a 9 out of 10, and I hope they get renewed for next season. Just don't put it in the same time scale as like Celebrity Wheel of Fortune or something, because that's not good for ratings. Until next time, stay tuned for another great Legend of the Hidden Temple. Bye.